the difference within sub-Saharan Africa. And I can split the others here, the South Asia, Arab world, now all your different departments, East Europe, Latin America, and OECD countries, and here we are. We have a continuum in the world. We cannot put it into two parts. It is Mayflower down here, it is Washington here, building countries, it's Lincoln here advancing them, it's Eisenhower bringing modernity into the countries, and then it's United States today up here. And we have countries all this way. Now, this is the important thing of understanding how the world has changed. At this point, I've decided to make a pause. And it is my task, on behalf of the rest of the world, to convey a thank to the US taxpayers for demographic health survey. Many are not aware of, no, this is not a joke. This is very serious. It is due to USAID's continuous sponsoring during 25 years of the very good methodology for measuring child mortality that we have a grasp of what's happening in the world. And it is US government at its best, without advocacy, providing facts that it's useful for the society, and providing data free of charge on the internet for the world to use. Thank you very much. Quite in the opposite of the World Bank, who compile data with government money, tax money, and then they sell it to add a little profit in a very inefficient Gutenberg way, which we need. But the people doing that at the World Bank are among the best in the world, and they are highly skilled professionals. It's just that we would like to upgrade our international agencies to deal with the world in the modern way as we do. And when it comes to free data and transparency, United States of America is one of the best. And that doesn't come easy from the mouth of the Swedish public health professor. And I'm not paid to come here, no. I would like to show you what happens with the data, what we can show with this data. Look here. This is the world with income down there and child mortality. And what has happened in the world since 1950, during the last 50 years, we have had a fall in child mortality. And this is DHS that makes it possible to know this. And we had an increase in income. And the blue former developing countries are mixing up with the former industrialized Western world. And we have a continuum, but we still have, and that is of course Congo up there, we still have as poor countries as we have had always in history. And that's the bottom billion where we've heard today about a completely new approach to do it. And how fast has this happening? Well, MDG 4, United States have not been so eager to use MDG 4, but you have been the main sponsor that has enabled us to measure them, because it's only child mortality that we can measure. And we used to say that it should fall 4% per year. Let's see what Sweden have done. We used to boast about fast social progress. That's where we were 1900. 1900, Sweden was there. Same child mortality as Bangladesh had 1990, though they had lower income. They started very well. They used the aid well. They vaccinated the kids. They get better water. And they reduced child mortality with an amazing 4.7% per year. They beat Sweden. I run Sweden the same 16-year period. Second round, it's Sweden 1916 against Egypt 1990. Here we go. Once again, USAID is part of the reason here. They get safe water, they get food for the poor, and they get malaria eradicated. 5.5%. They are faster than Millennium Development Goal rate. And third chance for Sweden against Brazil here. And Brazil here has an amazing social improvement over the last 16 years, and they go faster than Sweden. This means that the world is converging. The middle income countries, the emerging economies, they are catching up. They are moving to cities where they also get better assistance for them. Well, the Swedish students protest at this point. They say this is not fair because these countries had vaccine and antibiotics that was not available for Sweden. We have to do real-time competition. Okay, I give you Singapore, the year I was born. Singapore had twice the child mortality of Sweden. It's the most tropical country in the world, a marshland on the equator, and here we go. It took a little time for them to get independent, but then they started to grow their economy, and they made the social investment. They got away malaria. They got a magnificent health system that beat both US and Sweden. We never thought it would happen, that they would win over Sweden. All these green countries are achieving Millennium Development Goals. These yellow are just about to doing this. These red countries that doesn't do it, and the policy has to be improved, not simplistic extrapolation. We have to really find a way of supporting those countries in a better way. We have to respect the middle-income countries on what they are doing, and we have to fact-base the whole way we look at the world. This is dollar per person. This is HIV in the countries. The blue is Africa. The size of the bubbles is how many are HIV affected. You see the tragedy in South Africa there. About 20% of the adult population are infected, and in spite of them having quite a high income, they have a huge number of HIV infected. But you also see that there are African countries down here. There is no such thing as an HIV epidemic in Africa. There are a number, 5, 10 countries in Africa that has the same level as Sweden and United States. And there are others who are extremely high. And I will show you that what has happened in one of the best countries with the most vibrant economy in Africa and a good governance is Botswana. They had very high level, it's coming down, but now it's not falling because there, with help from PEPFAR, it's working with treatment and people are not dying. And you can see that it's not as easy that it is war which caused this, because here in Congo there is war, and here in Zambia there is peace. And it's not economy. The richer country has a little higher. And if I split Tanzania and its income quintile, the richer 20% in Tanzania has more HIV than the poorest one. And it's really difference within country. Look at the provinces of Kenya. They are very different. And this is the situation you see. It's not deep poverty. It's a special situation, probably of concurrent sexual partnership among part of the heterosexual population in some countries or some parts of countries in Southern Eastern Africa. Don't make it Africa. Don't make it a race issue. Make it a local issue and do prevention at each place in the way it can be done there. So to just end up, there are things of suffering in the 1 billion poorest which we don't know of. Those who live beyond the cell phone, those who are yet to see a computer, those who have no electricity at home. This is the disease Konso. I spent 20 years elucidating in Africa. It's caused by fast processing of toxic cassava root in famine situation. It's similar to the Pellagra epidemic in Mississippi in the 30s. It's similar to other nutritional diseases. It will never affect a rich person. We have seen it here in Mozambique. This is the epidemic in Mozambique. This is an epidemic in northern Tanzania. You've never heard about the disease, but it's much more than Ebola that has been affected by this disease. It's called crippling throughout the world. And over the last 2 years, 2,000 people has been crippled in the southern tip of Bandunda region that used to be the illegal diamond trade from the UNITA-dominated area in Angola that has now disappeared, and they are now in great economical problem. And 1 week ago, for the first time, there were 4 lines on the internet. Don't get confused of the progress of the emerging economies and the great capacity of people in the middle-income countries and in peaceful low-income countries. There is still misery in 1 billion, and we have to have more concept than just developing countries and developing world. We need a new mindset. The world is converging, but not the bottom billion. They are still as poor as they've ever been. It's not sustainable, and it will not happen around one superpower. But you will remain one of the most important superpower and the most hopeful superpower for the time to be. And this institution will have a very crucial role, not for United States, but for the world. So you have a very bad name. State Department. This is not the State Department, it's the World Department, and we have high hope in you. Thank you very much.